I'm trying to knock these out. So we're already on part 4. So I've done part 2, 3, and 4 all in the same sitting. Sparky might come across the camera again or meow for us. I don't know. Sparky's moody today. That's the last of the bourbon. Moving on. Alright, Caldeo EX. Getting her out. Not a huge fan of the texturing. It's just very flat. Centering looks to be fine to me. No bends. And that was just debris, little white debris. Honestly, my goodness, it's another one of those cards to where I've got like, it's like someone went through all the cards and took a mechanical pencil and just pressed them in slightly to ding up the cards. That is difficult to tell because man, it's very visible under light. And that's, I was just about to say absolutely a PSA 10, possibly even a BGS black label, and then you come across something like that, and it's like, I've had so many of those, and I'd be more understanding if this was more of a vintage card where kids like me were extremely reckless and gave very little care for the cards. But to come across those things nowadays really makes me think that someone intentionally, purposely dinged up all of the cards of the set just to make sure I couldn't get 10s, which is pretty upsetting. Up next is a Japanese Amazing Rare Reshiram, which is a hollow on this card. The texture to it, the breaking out of the box, they did it right for this card. The only thing they probably could have done is maybe not done it rainbow style. They probably could have kept it more color themed or color contrast themed. But it is what it is. It's what they went with. I've already looked at this card several times. This is a card that I would BGS black label. My issue is I have sent cards in the past that would BGS black label, and they didn't even BGS 10. And I have some theories as to why. And because of those theories, this will not be going to BGS. Up next is a cool card to me. I apparently, maybe I up-hyped the rarity of this card. I have not seen very many of it. I think I saw one online, and that one online made me go and reconfirm my others. Why is this so cool? It's not a reverse holo. It's a holographic with a full holo bleed. It's not a promo card. It's not a special print deck exclusive. This is a card that was meant to just have the holo in the normal holo area, and it's a full holo bleed Raichu. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And as far as I'm aware, there's no PSA label for it. So this is going to CGC and or tag. And if it wasn't for that, I think this would have PSA 10'd. because since they don't have a label for it, PSA will consider that damage to the card the full bleed misprint. So I think it would PSA 10. Now, not get your hopes up. This is just the premium file. I have several of these. This is the Japanese Typhlosion premium file. And this one just isn't as liked. It's not as rare or sought out after as the other Neo Genesis Typhlosion. However, it's still Typhlosion. Still a very nostalgic, cool card. Still very crisp. Still very clean. The centering is slightly off. I would still argue PSA 10 worthy. I, of course, am very much hoping to get the CGC Black Label with this card. There are some reasons for that. One, as far as I'm aware of, there is no CGC Black Label population for this card. So that would be extremely dope to have a one-of-one of this card. So other reasons why I really want to push these cards to CGC as soon as possible. Up next is another absolutely beautiful card. Out of the three dogs, Flareon to me for the longest. Just who doesn't love fire as a kid? Flareon to me for the longest was the coolest of the three evolutions. Wasn't my favorite Pokemon, but it was up there. I need to identify what I'm looking at here exactly. What am I see something at the top, but I'm not really... Excuse me. I can't tell if it's a crease or if it's just... What am I looking at? Is it just a mark on the card? I don't think it's a crease. I just think it's maybe some gunk. So some itty bitty, but still noticeable to me. Very weird, whatever that is. Maybe we can press it out. I don't always recommend doing this. You could very well damage the card more trying to fix it. Just, man. Oh. And I had a lot of Vaporeons as a kid. I think Flareon was the last of the dogs that I got when I was a kid. Centering slightly off. Very minor. And just confirming again, sometimes it's just debris, and you want to remove debris if you can help it. Yep, just debris. And some of that is my penny sleeves got mixed in with some gunk in the past, and lessons learned, guys. Just get new clean penny sleeves. You don't need to, I mean, they're so cheap. You don't need to get, and top loaders really aren't that pricey either. Alright, so it's looking like debris. If I can just get it to come off. It'd probably be better to use a tool than my fingernail. But I don't have a tool. So maybe I can do it with a pen, but maybe, I mean, the edge of a razor would probably be the best choice here. So that's probably the only error on the back, is that little dot. So I'm going to attempt to remove that. This is not going to be easy. It doesn't want to come off. I am not a card repair person. It is there. It's minor, but it's there. That does kind of make it hard to say this would 10. It probably would 10 if I could get the debris to remove. I just... Oh, hold on. That's an important factor. What am I seeing here? And again, I don't always try to annotate only the good. I do want to annotate all the errors, all the issues. I kind of see an itty bitty bend. I do want to annotate that. It's super tiny. If it is a bend, it doesn't follow through on the front. That more debris? What am I? Yeah. Again, I think I just have a dirty penny sleeve and I'm being lazy. Oh, it's trying to drive me crazy. Because it's definitely debris. Even though I'm not feeling the texture of the debris. So I'm gonna leave it. So, saying 9 to 10 is probably a little unrealistic. I think it's more fair to say 9 if it was PSA. And that completes the 4 parts of this video. But what are we getting at? We want to send these in as soon as possible, the whole stack. Again, might replace that Charmander with somebody, might even add to the stack. The stack isn't exactly ready to go yet. I have to get some packaging. I got to do the submission through CGC. Might even go through that process or maybe just do an outside review on that process. Heck, what am I doing? Let's just go ahead and lay these puppies out as best as I can while keeping them in order. Beautiful cards, really. I mean, they're all PSA worthy cards, but I want to give CGC a try. And I want to see how that works out and build a data set. And also, again, I no longer have faith in PSA. I am genuinely certain if I sent in my Black Dot Charmander, they would swipe it out with a normal Charmander and claim that that was just debris on it and I am wrong and here is your card. And they would give me just a normal Charmander. It wouldn't even be a 10. They would give me something in worse shape. And they would say, tough luck, suck it, we are PSA, there's nothing you can do about us. And I'm just gonna move on, man. And there's more to that. And yeah, that's what I have to say about that and why I really don't want to use PSA. Arguably still, for the market, so there is still absolutely money and liquidity to be had in PSA. We, as the hobby and consumers, have the vote in that. And the vote in that is simply choosing not to grade with them anymore. I am not saying that PSA cards should become worthless. That is not what I'm saying. But I want to be clear that we have the ability to decide the value of the other graded cards. And I don't think we should ultimately give value to every willy-nilly grader. I've seen alternate willy-nilly graded cards, and trust me, they're definitely not held to the same standard. But arguably, Beckett, CGC, and TAG are very close in standard to PSA, and of course, in some cases, if not higher. I would argue, and we're going to find out with this data set, we're going to find out, and I could be more to the data set. I could crack open my PSA cards, and there might be a few that I'm about to, and send to CGC and see what that data set shows. But I think this is a pretty good data set. I have a pretty good run with my PSA guesses, so arguably this will be a good data set to figure out how CGC grades. I don't think it's the end of the world if someone is easier than PSA, as long as they're consistent. I'm not saying CGC should get everyone a 10. I've seen CGCs that are 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s. They run through the whole scale. But as long as a grader is consistent in what their standard is, that is worth a million times more than an inconsistent grader who might be purposely swapping out cards, maybe even purposely damaging cards. I have to review my footage and see if I can prove or disprove that I sent bent cards. I do find it very strange that all the cards that were bent were all cards that would have been, at this point, 30-year-old cards that would have a much greater value if they weren't slightly bent. I mean, much greater value in terms of the jump. So, and those cards were after I had a pretty strong phone call and email debacle with PSA. And after meeting PSA workers in person, people close to my age and people even older than me, and I'm in my 30s, acting like high school teenagers, I would not be 100% surprised if PSA workers were so vindictive that they would damage my cards over my emails and phone calls, over the call out of the theft of my Black Dot Charizard. So I would love to move forward. I would love to build value to CGC, and I would love to move value out of PSA. Not their cards that are already graded. I am not trying to ruin this for people who already have graded PSA cards. I, however, am trying to talk people out of grading with PSA for their inconsistencies, their theft, their mishandling, their lack of communication, and their lack of care. I have nothing to say about CGC yet. This will be my first submission to them. I will let you know now, so far, based on looking at their website, their grading fees are much lower and their time estimates are much lower. I'd like to see how well this goes and give y'all a review. I'd also like to compare my data set to the data set that will be given to us based on cards that come back to us. These cards as the example. I think it's fair to take in the fact that CGC technically is 1 through 11, since they have a 10 and they have a 10 black label, which would technically be 1 through 11 grades, while PSA is 1 through 10 grades. So it's not so far-fetched to me that a PSA 9 could CGC 10, and maybe even CGC 10 black label. That being said, that's the point of this submission. Let's get our data set, and let's go from there.